Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is triple column cash book. Let's see an example to understand how to prepare triple column cash book. Enter the following transactions in the three columnar cash book of Sundaram. Date of the transaction 2017 January 1st. Balance in hand 42,500. Balance at bank 35,000. So now we know that the opening balance is 42,500. Balance in hand means it is cash. So the opening balance of cash is 42,500 and the opening balance at bank is 35,000. So let's see how to enter these amounts in the triple column cash book. Opening balance, we have to write it on the debit side. Date of the transaction is 2017 January 1st. They have clearly said that the opening balance is to balance brought down. Cash, they have said that balance in hand is 42,500. So it is cash 42,500. Then balance at bank is 35,000. So I am going to write in the bank column 35,000 on the debit side. Okay. On third, received for cash sales 15,700. So okay, here cash sales is made. We know that all the cash transactions will come in cash book. What is the entry for cash sales? When you make sales, cash is coming in. Sale is happening. Sale is an income, so it is credited. The entry is cash account debtor to sales account. We have to focus only on cash, that is whether the cash is debited or credited. In this entry, cash account debtor to sales account. Okay, this is the entry, cash account debtor to sales account, isn't it? In this entry, we have to see whether cash is debited or credited. Here cash account is debited. So we are going to write in the cash book on the debit side to sales account. Okay. Date of the transaction is 3rd. So I am writing in the date column 3rd January to sales account. What is the amount? 15,700. So I am going to write it in the cash column 15,700. Okay. Because it is a cash sales. Cash paid into bank. What is the entry for this? When you pay cash, what is the entry? Bank is the receiver, cash is going out. So the entry is bank account debtor to cash account. Remember, it is a contra entry because both the aspects of the transaction are recorded in the cash book itself. That is, the bank account and the cash account, the debit aspect and the credit aspect are recorded in the cash book itself. So it is a contra entry. Now, what is on the debit side? Bank account is debited. So we are going to write on the debit side of the cash book. We are going to write on the debit side of the cash book the corresponding entry. The corresponding entry is to cash account, isn't it? So I am going to write on the debit side of cash book to cash account. Amount is rupees 11,500 and this 11,500 we have to write it in the bank column. Okay, because bank account is debited. So I am going to write it on the debit side of the cash book to cash account, but I am going to write the amount in the bank column. Okay. So let's see how to write it in the triple columnar cash book. Remember, the date of the transaction is the 4th January. So what is the entry? To cash account. Okay. So in brackets, I am going to write the letter C. C means contra entry. Okay, now we have seen in the entry that bank account is debited. So I am going to write it on the bank column, the amount of rupees 11,500. Again I repeat, see, on 4th January, what is happening? Cash is paid into bank. So the entry is bank account debtor to cash account. Amount is rupees 11,500. So bank account is debited. So I am going to write it on the debit side of cash book. To cash account 11,500 I am going to write. But in which column I am going to write? I am going to write it in the bank column. Here cash account is credited. So I am going to write it on the credit side of cash book by bank account. Amount is rupees 11,500. So I am going to write this 11,500 in the cash column. Okay, because cash account is credited 4th January. Okay, on 4th January by, see, you know what is the entry? Cash account is credited. I'm going to write it on the credit side by bank account. Okay. So now by bank account in brackets, I'm going to write the letter C. That what is the amount? 11,500. But I am going to write this 11,500 in the cash column. Understood? The next one is cash purchases. So what happens when we purchase? When purchases are made, in the entry is purchase account debtor to cash account. Okay, so cash is credited. So I am going to write it on the credit side by purchases 14,300. So now I am writing by purchases account 14,300 in the cash column. Okay, 14,300 in the cash column because cash purchases is made. And the date of the transaction is 6th January. See, on 9th January, received a dividend directly by the bank through ECS, rupees 2,000. So what happens when you receive dividend? When you receive this dividend, bank account is debited because cash is received through bank, and credit dividend received account because dividend is an income. We have to credit all incomes and gains as per the nominal account rule. On 9th January to dividend received account, amount is rupees 2,000 because we are receiving it through bank. So 2,000 I am going to write it in the bank column. On 10th January, Pongal advance to staff paid through bank. We are paying it through bank. So I am going to write it in the bank column. Okay, in this transaction, we are paying Pongal advance. So Pongal advance account debtor to bank account because we are paying money through bank. That's why bank account is credited instead of cash. Since bank account is credited, I am going to write it on the credit side of cash book by Pongal advance 17,000 in the bank column. The date of the transaction is 10th January by Pongal advance account. How much is the amount? 17,000 rupees we are paying the advance through bank. So I'm going to write it in the bank column 17,000. Option is received cash from Nagarajan and allowed in discount rupees 150. So what is the entry for this transaction? When we receive cash, cash is coming inside. So the entry is cash account debtor and we are allowing discount. So the entry is a discount allowed account 150. Then we have to credit Nagarajan with rupees 11,850. The journal entry is cash account debtor 11,850, discount allowed account debtor 150 and Nagarajan's account 12,000. Here cash account is debited. So on the debit side of cash book, I am going to write to Nagarajan's account in the cash column 11,850 and in the discount allowed column rupees 150. So on 12th January to Nagarajan's account, amount is rupees 11,850. In the discount allowed column, rupees 150. Transaction is on 17th January. Paid Magesh in full settlement of his account 20,000. So we are paying Magesh. We have to pay actually rupees 20,000, but we are paying only rupees 19,700. So what is the remaining balance 300 rupees? It is discount received from Magesh. Okay, agree. Now let's see. We are paying cash, isn't it? So who is receiving? Magesh is receiving. So I am going to debit Magesh account because as per the personal account rule, we have to debit the receiver. That's why I am debiting Magesh account. Then what is happening when we pay cash? Cash is going out. That's why cash account is credited. Then discount received is an income. So we are crediting discount received as per the nominal account rule. Credit all incomes and gains. So amount is rupees 19,700. In the cash book, I am going to write by Magesh account. Amount is rupees 19,700 because you already know that if cash is debited, we have to write it on the debit side. If cash account is credited, we have to write it on the credit side. Here, in this entry, cash account is credited, isn't it? So, I am going to write it on the credit side by Magesh account. By Magesh account, 19,700 in the cash column. Then, in the discount received column, I am going to write rupees 300. The transaction is 17th January. So I'm going to write 17th January by Magesh account in the cash column rupees 19,700. This and in discount received column, this is discount received column. I'm going to write rupees 300. The next transaction is cash withdrawn for personal expenses. So, what is the entry for this? Drawings account debtor to cash account. The cash account is credited. So, I am going to write it on the credit side of cash book by drawings account rupees 20,000. So, date of the transaction is 20th January by drawings account. Amount is rupees 20,000. This 20,000 should be written in cash column. Drawn cash from ATM for office use, rupees 1,500. So when we withdraw cash, what is happening? cash is coming in. So cash account debtor and withdrawing cash from ATM. So what is the entry? To bank account. These two aspects, that is the debit aspect and the credit aspect, will appear in cash book, isn't it? So it is a contra entry. While preparing triple columnar cash book, cash account is debited. So I'm going to write it on the debit side of cash book to bank account. In the cash column, the amount of rupees 1500. Then again in the cash book, on the credit side, I am going to write by cash account in the bank column rupees 1500. The date of the transaction is 30th January. Again I repeat. See here, cash account is debited. So I am going to write on the debit side of cash book to bank account. Okay. To bank account. It is a contra entry. So I am going to write the letter C in brackets. Then in which column I should write? Cash account is debited. So I am going to write it in the cash column rupees 1500. So in cash column, this is cash column, this is bank column. So in cash column I am writing rupees 1500. In here bank account is credited. So I am going to write it on the credit side of the cash book by cash account. Date of the transaction is 30th by cash account. I am going to write the letter C in brackets. Bank account is credited. So I am going to write in the bank column rupees 1500. So in the bank column I am going to write rupees 1500. This is cash column. This is bank column. So in bank column I am writing rupees 1500. Again I repeat, whenever there is contra entry, you see first whether cash account is debited. Here cash account is debited. So we have to write it on the debit side. The amount also we have to write it on the in the cash column. But we have to write the corresponding entry. That is the opposite entry. Okay. Again similarly, here bank account is credited. So we have to write it on the credit side. We have to write the amount in the bank column. But we have to write the corresponding entry. Remember, in this entry, cash received from Nagarajan. So we have to write it in the cash column. This 11,850 should be written in the cash column because we are receiving cash from Mr. Nagarajan. Okay. See now, this is the cash column. This is the bank column. Now I am going to total the cash column on the debit side of cash book. So when I total the debit side of the cash book, that is the cash column, I get rupees 71,550. Now I am going to write 71,550 debit side cash column. Okay, this is the total. Again I am going to total the credit side of the cash book, that is the cash column alone. When I total, I get rupees 65,500. That is the credit side of the cash book. Cash column. Remember, cash column. Okay. First, let's see. So when we total the cash column in the cash book, I get 71,550 and 65,500, which is the higher total. 71,550 is the higher total. So I am going to write this higher total on the debit side and credit side of cash book. Now this is the debit side of cash book, cash column. Higher total is 71,550. Again, I am going to write this amount in the cash column on the credit side. 71,550. Then when I total this bank column on the debit side of cash book, I get the total as rupees bank column, debit side total, credit side total. Okay, the debit side total is rupees 48,500, and let's see what is the total on the credit side of the cash book in bank column. So when I total the credit side, I get rupees 18,500. Okay, so which is the higher total, 48,500 or 18,500? 48,500 is the higher total. So I am going to write the higher total on debit side and credit side of cash book. See, I am writing the higher total on the debit side and credit side of cash book in the bank column, 48,500. Here also I am going to write the higher total, 48,500. Now let's find out the balancing figure. Okay. See, 71,550. Okay. Minus 65,500. What we get? We get rupees 6,050. This is the balancing figure. Okay. This balancing figure is shown on the credit side because both the cash column and the bank column, that is the debit side of the cash book, has got the higher total. So the balancing figure will automatically come on the credit side. Okay, now let's see this one. What is 48,500 minus 18,500? We get rupees 30,000. Okay, so this 30,000 is the balancing figure in bank column. This is the balancing figure in cash column. The balancing figure will be always shown at the end of the month by balance carried down. Amount is rupees. The cash column 6,050. Okay. So I am going to write 6,050. Then bank column 30,000. So I am going to write this 30,000 here. This balancing figure, okay, this balancing figure will be brought forward to the next month. That is the beginning of the next month. We have to write here, after the total we have to write 1st February, okay, to balance brought down. Amount is what? 6,050. Then 30,000. Thanks for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe.